3, 2, 1, and action.
Hello people, my name is Sako, the company Compere, the sense of humor. I'd like to welcome you to another segment with Time Out with Sako. I have been getting a lot of messages from the last video that I had with my grand mentor, His Excellency, Mr. Akpobome, Hallelujah Toyota. Thank you so much. It's been overwhelming. I think I use the word overwhelming all the time. Don't let me use overwhelming this time. It's been mind-blowing. Thank you so much. I hope to respond to some of the mails and the messages I've received so far. And one thing that I want you all to do, that if you watch this video, is in the place of study, I learned that we hear the word information is power. Yes, I learned that growing up, but I realized that information is not power until you put action to the information you've learned or the information you've gotten. So it's important that you begin to put live and put works into it. Begin to make it practical. Don't just make it just theory alone. You need to begin to make use of them, because if you don't make use of them, you won't get the value. Today, I have another pressing topic that people have asked. I made some easy tips on how to do that. And today's topic is, when I come back, I'll share with you. Welcome back. It's still the Time Out with Sako, and I'm so honored, I'm so privileged to have you watching this video from any part of the world that you are. Thanks so much for following me on all my social platforms, on SpiritofSacotv, on my Facebook page, on Instagram, on Twitter. Yeah. Today, I will be speaking on how to negotiate your fee as a compere, as a comedian, even as a musician. But my focus will be on the compares and the comedians. If there's anything we're always very excited is when we receive call from a client and say, I got your number from this person. And if there's anything also from 1 to 20 or from 1 to 100, when I ask, how did you get my number? It comes from referrals. That's why it's also very important that every time you have the opportunity to anchor an event, even if they don't pay you your normal fee, make sure you do it very well. It is important, because from experience, most of the events I've gotten within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, events that they didn't pay my normal fee. I did it for a family friend, or I did it from someone, or I did it as a favor, and then eventually I did the event very well, and it opened more doors. For every time you do an event, it gives you at least 10 doors, at least. So it could be more. All right. So every time you do an event, always be intentional about your act. Don't look at the price, especially when you've been cheated. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. When I say cheated, it means that when they tell you it's a small gathering, it's just for people, the crowd is not up to 100, and then it's even a small, the all was given to us by somebody. We hear all that all the time. It's just, in fact, we didn't know that we needed an MC. It was just an afterthought. We just thought, we insisted. In fact, another thing I hear is, I'm the one paying. Actually, they don't even have money. I'm the one paying. And you find out that they are not the one paying, that is actually, they are negotiating on their behalf because they want to find favor from them. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Raise your hand, let me see. Now, I know we've all been in that category before, where we've been duped. But at the same time, we get better and better all the time. Sometimes you might need to walk away from some of those events. Trust me. You might need to walk away and keep working on yourself. Trust me. They're watching you. They're watching you. That's why I would also advise, as a compere, as a comedian, have something else that you're passionate about. Yes, your target is compere, your target is a comedian, but also make sure that you have something that brings you money. Make sure you have all the sources of income. Don't just, I took the risk. I've been doing this for 10 years strictly, I succeeded. But if you know you don't have that capacity, you need something that will be getting you money at least daily. You need to get something. And the platform is, when you have this as a comedian, as a compere, it's already building a name, integrity, and social capital you can leverage on other things. I might not be able to share, maybe when we have one-on-one or we have a forum, I could share with you some of the things that I do apart from being a compere. It's important, because if you don't do that, you might get hungry. And we don't want you to be undervalued or underpaid. So tips on how to negotiate. First, when you receive a call, the first thing you must do, don't just be calm. It's also important how you receive a call. every time you receive a call, if you're not the one receiving it, the person receiving your calls should be cautious enough to say, good afternoon, my name is Sako, who am I speaking with? It's important. Don't say who they talk. Now you they talk. From that alone, you're already creating the fact that we could price you. Because for every time you pick a call, it will determine whether these people want to work with you or not, depending. If it's a corporate gig, if it's a wedding, or maybe you were being referred or recommended. You can't cut me unawares. Good afternoon, Your Excellency, who am I speaking with? There's nothing wrong with you giving everybody respect. And then you ask, am I speaking with, I mentioned name, am I speaking to Commando? I'm using that for instance. I say, yes, you're speaking. Who am I speaking with? Okay, my name is Mr. Jaye. I got your number from this person, and I'd like you to please anchor my event. They might not say please. I want to confirm if you're available on so date. You must confirm. I know my date offerings. I know the days that I'm available. I know the days I'm not available. But some people might not say, let me check my calendar. One of the things our grand mentor taught us is sometimes you make them know, can I call you back to check my availability? When you do all those things, you say, I'll call you back. And if they really want you, they will come for you. All right? So ask, I need to check my availability. Okay, what's the event about? You must ask, what is the event about? Oh, it's a wedding. Where is it holding? Before you even mention price, because some people will just call, what's the price? No, I need to know where's the venue, where's the venue of the event, what's the duration of the event. Because you need to know how long you're going to be there. Yes, we know that's almost all the day, but you need to know how long are you going to be there, what are you going to be doing, are you coming in as a compere, are you coming in as a comedian? All those questions are important. If it's outside Lagos, you need to ask, you want me to come in on Friday, or you're going to book my flight? All these things, you need to ask questions. What's the, and then when you've answered all those questions, and then you say, okay, this is my fee, this is how much I collect. And then he says, is that the best price? Depending on you, if it's slightly negotiable, you ask them. If there's anything that I've done lately, I have a rate card. So when you call me and say, do you mind if I send you my rate card for event? And then you send. When you send, you say, this is my rate card for corporate gigs, this is how much I collect. If you want, you can send me a message on together a sample of the rate card. I sent it to my proteges on the WhatsApp group that I created, to teach them on how to create. You need to create a rate card. You need to begin to put value on yourself. Sometimes one of the things that happen is that you feel you might not be able to collect that money. Today, some people collect 1.5, 3.5 million as a compare. People are asking how. How is that? It's happening because of the value and the level of self-development. If there's anything you need to do, you need to keep working on yourself. Keep working on yourself. When you're not busy, there are free courses online you can attend. Go to conferences that will build you up on pronunciation skills, on presentation skills. You need to know all these things. It's value. Nobody can take that away from you. Okay, so every time you handle the mic, people want to have you at all costs. I see people asking for me now, not because of the growth, but because of the consistent in trying to learn. See, this is not a period where we begin to say you're proud. If you know that someone younger than you knows the things that you need to learn, submit yourself to the person. You need to submit yourself and learn. Be humble, because when you know these things, you would always, and then don't start hiding. Always refer and thank them. I said, I learned this thing from this person. I have a guy that is coaching me now on how to be a better comedian. Yes, I started as a comedian, but I've evolved. But I have a strong guy, his name is Emerson Martins. Every week we have conversations. I have a title of a joke, and he's teaching me on how to be a better person, how to be spontaneous, and it keeps getting better. Yes, I'm spontaneous, but I have somebody that is my protege that is teaching me on how to be better. All right? Don't add value to yourself. Self-development is key as an entertainer. Okay? So ask, what did I say? You ask for the venue. Where is it holding? If it's in Lagos, if you're in where you are, if you're in Ogun State, you need to ask, where's the venue? Where's the event holding? Sometimes some people do not want to tell you. Some clients don't want to tell you where the venue is because they feel that when they tell you, you want to charge them. Sometimes they tell you, does the venue determine the price? No, it doesn't determine the price. I just want to know so I know how to plan myself. Simple. Some people tell you their events as a rental hotel. I had an event recently that when a man called me, he told me it was an event it was a hall in Ikeja, and then before you know it, the next conversation I had was after I had made commitment, said no, the venue has changed. It's changed to another hotel, one of the expensive hotels that just came into Lagos, and I was, I've made up my mind. It's made commitment already. There's nothing I can do. Sometimes they don't tell you the truth, but stand on your ground, stand on the price. Sometimes you might need to walk away and be a little flexible. you know how it is now. Sometimes we won't want to ask. So my Saturday will not be less busy. If you continue like that, you just realize that you're on the same spot. Trust me, on the same spot for 4 years. You wouldn't even know. You think you're enjoying until you just realize that you've been doing this. You know, I used to do that until one of my proteges noticed, because sometimes I'm open about my price and I say, this is how much I collect. And he says, I noticed my protege, one of my proteges forever, I'll mention his name. And he says, I noticed that you've been taking this amount for this price. But because I'm a dangerous saver, I don't spend all that I earn. As soon as you pay money into my account, I put it there. And that's another topic for another day. These are topics we will be discussing when we have conversations. I might not be able to give you all the details, but I'm sure I'll create a day where we have conversation. You ask me any question. I'm a dangerous saver. I don't spend all. Yes, I spend lesser than I earn, because for me, it's important. This money coming in is for a purpose. I have things, I have targets, I have visions, I have goals that I want to achieve every year. And so if our people around me still think, what's happening, the kind of car I'm driving, but I know what I'm going. I know what I'm doing. It's just a matter of time. You need to build your foundation down. You need to be strong. You can't be spending especially last year when the COVID-19 happened, a lot of people were broke. There were a lot of people asking for, you get 2K when you know they use again. Everybody, 2K, 5K. You don't want to be stranded. You need to be safe for not only rainy day, you need to save and be intentional about your savings. I'm beginning to enter other topic, but that's me. I'm just passionate about making sure that. So first, venue, confirm how long you're going to be there. You need to confirm. They usually tell you it's between 2 hours to 4 hours. Trust me, it's not true. There's nothing like 2 hours because there's no way you get there 1 hour before. And if anything happens, you can't leave the event. You can't leave the event, and especially if you have another event, you just quickly do this one. And that's how we just want to just quickly come. If something happens, there's nothing you can do. So if you're going to charge and say, this is my price. If somebody say, please, we are begging you, okay, yes, I'm begging you, but this is the best I can go. And I do appreciate you. Always say to them that the truth is, it's a privilege to anchor your event. If I don't anchor your event, somebody else will do. And I'm sure that if I don't handle it, next time I'm going to handle it. Simple. Be polite. Don't ever insult any of your clients, even if they're at this my age. Someone who wanted me to do an event for them for 20,000 or 50,000, and I smiled. I said, I'm sorry. Do you mind? I'll not be able to do it. Sometimes I even want to recommend, but I feel that it's even an insult for me to recommend them to that kind of event. But some people are still, up and coming. They need that kind of money. I remember my first 30K job. I wanted to, what I say? I wanted to run mad. It was May. The event was July 6, 2008. That was the first 30K I got in 2008 by my mentor, Oli Man. And they paid 30K into my account as a student. I was in Ilorin then on Taiwo Road. I went to one of the banks and I checked ATM. For the first time, I saw 30,000 in my account. That was mine. But I wanted to be sure if it was mine, so I withdrew 1,000. So that in case they said that was a mistake, I can always, rally around to get the 1,000. And I went to do comedy. For comedy, just a day before the event, he said, Saka, do you mind if you anchor? My mentor didn't want me to anchor. I said, don't worry, I'll anchor. Even if they want me to carry the chair, I will, And that was how I did the event. And it dawned on me that, sometimes you just need somebody to push you and say, you can do this event. And then I did the 30K. The next time he called me that same year, 2008, was 120,000 to go do comedy in Abuja for 5 minutes. I wanted to faint. 120,000. Me that was collecting 5,000. I could go anywhere for 5,000. If you give me 5,005, I was surprised. I'll do like 10 minutes for you. And then I had mentors that says, you know what? And they booked my ticket. They even told me to book a ticket. I said, for what? I can take a bus from Lagos to Ilorin to Abuja. But the rest is history, and I can't go anywhere if you're not taking care of my flight, you're not taking care of my hotel, I'm not coming. I didn't have the audacity before, but I realized that there's value in what you do. Value. Until you begin to blow your trumpet and you begin to stand your ground on some things. And that's why when you're posting pictures on your Instagram, what kind of posts are you putting? Because when people come to your page, they want to see if you are serious with your business. You might be a joker, you may be a comedian, but you need to be intentional about, if you don't know how to post, work with a PR person. And say, sir, do you mind if you work with me? Humble yourself, sir. Can you please help me put this thing in place? It's your business page. Please don't see this job. Don't just feel. And the fact that you're a comedian doesn't mean that whenever you get to a place that you do not know, you begin to make noise. So you begin to, do things you're not supposed to. You can sit down calmly and observe. That period is a time for you to observe. I've learned that there's power in observation. I remember my first trip outside Lagos outside Nigeria to Ghana. The man saw me in a church in Magodo, a Ghanaian pastor, Pastor Joe Jackson, and then he saw what I did and he loved that. A few days after, he had called me. That's why you need to be prepared, because you need to go to international passport, because I had a very amazing experience. One of the elders in my church, I've always been telling me, works in the passport office. Sako, go get your passport. I said, no. In my mind, I never imagined myself outside Nigeria. And that's why, as a comedian, as an entertainer, please get your passport. I need you to get your passport. We're going to Dubai on the 20th of February, 2022. It's a few months away. It's possible. And the way we want to do it, we want it to be easy for you to make payment. For me, it's one of the training that I want us. Well, we're going to have fun, but we're going to have a day for training. We'll train not too long. 3 hours training. I bring in 1 or 2 of my friends to come train us on how to. It's a retreat for me, international retreat for me, where we'll leave Nigeria on the 20th. Every one of us. If you're watching, if you're interested, send me a DM. You're interested, but first you need to get your international passport. So I go back to my story, and then he has always told me, in my mind, why am I rushing to? And then boom, this man loved what I did as a 2008 also, 2008, 2009, and then he says, he wants me to come to Ghana this Saturday. And he says I should come to the office. He was going to pay me $100 or something as at that time. And I got to his office and he says I should send my passport photograph. So my international passport, so I can book I was thinking it was my passport photograph. So I told him how many. I was almost going to say how many, but I've had the joke, and then he says your international passport. I said I don't have. And he had paid me part payment. And he said, if you don't have, then get me somebody that will represent you in Ghana. I said, my God will not allow them to represent me in the name of Jesus. That same day, as I got back part payment, and then I went straight to the immigration office and I met the man. I said, sir, please help me. And they got me an ECOWAS passport that, I sent the details to the man. And I found my way in Ghana. I booked my ticket for Saturday morning. And then I got to Ghana on Saturday morning with the first flight. And you needed to see the excitement in my mother's face when I told her I was going to Ghana, and then when I got there, because I'd never been to Ghana, I observed everything. In fact, I was a different person that he saw. So I began to observe, I began to ask questions. Okay, in Ghana, where's the VI of Lagos? Where's the Ajegunle of Lagos? And those were the questions I was asking. I went with some of the Ghanaian friends, church members, to go and find out, to ask questions. I went for one, I think we were having one of their festivals or something, or a party or something, and I asked those questions. And on Sunday morning, they introduced me that I was going to be the MC at the event in the evening. And from the service, I observed everything, all the jokes, all the comparison that I usually do with Lagos when I started. I began to compare Nigeria and Ghana. And trust me, I've never had an amazing feedback that day. When we're going in the car, because I stayed in the man's house, I stayed in one of the rooms, and then he said to me, Amy, he said, can I make a confession to you? I said, yes, sir. He said, Sako, I was actually scared because when you got in, you didn't say a word. I was expecting you to, since you came in yesterday, I was expecting you to, crack joke, but you were not. I was scared that if you were able to handle this audience. Guess what? I came back to Ghana the second time after that day, after that event, and then that opened doors. So every time I noticed that, see, it's not a time for you to begin to make noise and begin to say, hey, I don't come more. No, sometimes be calm. Say to yourself, sometimes you can be over, just touch yourself, say, Sako, be calm. Because I'm an accountant, and one of the things that I learned in the concept of accounting says the business, one of them says is the business entity. It means that the business is different from the owner. It means that as a comedian, you could be a comedian outside, but you could be a calm person. So Ayodele is different from Sako. If you don't know me as a comedian or as a compere, you will never know I'm a comedian when I'm not on stage. Because I do not have to make noise. The jokes I'm supposed to crack, I'm already cracking it for free. So why don't I give you value? So I've learned, since I learned that, I don't. My guys know that if I'm not I'm calm. Sometimes they think I'm angry. They made jest and say, bros, you don't always smile. I don't have to smile because I make people smile all the time. I need to think. There's a point where you need to think. When you get to a place, observe. because you don't even know if it is the first word that you observe from observation. And our grand mentor Ali Baba says that every time you walk into the room, he can form like 10 jokes on the spot. I'm still trusting God for grace like that, to have that on the spot. He just tells you, he was sharing a story of how he told Bros Basketball to crack a joke, and he was cracking, Bros couldn't, and Sir Ali Baba was cracking jokes, pam, 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 he was finishing. Those are spontaneous things, but nothing spontaneous if you're not observant. So I'm deviating from the topic, but I needed to give you this story to let you know how my life has been. And I know that, you need to stand your ground. Always be respectful. Always be cautious when you're talking to your client. Good afternoon, sir. If you're busy, please, do you mind if I send you a text message back? Do you mind if I call you back? I'm currently at an event. I'll call you back. Can I know the exact date so that I can give you feedback? Or can we continue this conversation on WhatsApp? Or can we continue this conversation on through my email? You send your email. Yes, okay. Some people like to be as corporate as that. And then remember that for every time when you decide that you will do the event, it means that you made that decision and they make a commitment, and you say, make commitment. I beg you, if I need to kneel down, you are not allowed to take any other event, especially if it clashes with your other event. So you get a call for the 21st of August for an event. It's a Saturday, 2021. And then somebody decides to pay you 100,000, for instance. And then you agree. And the person says, can I make commitments? And sometimes you know how you need cash, you need some liquid cash. You don't want to touch your savings. And then this person makes a commitment of 50,000. And then just when you collected the 50,000, just same evening or the next day or the next week, somebody reached out to you and says, August 21st. And you know you are booked. You know you are booked. And then he says he's going to pay you 250. I've been in that position before, right? So I can tell you, you will fall if you're not tempted, if you're not sure, if there's anything I don't do is I don't negotiate, especially when I know that date is already. I did that in the past and I say it, I lie not. I did that in the past. I collected the event. I knew or I know that I'm engaged, but when I had, and I know the kind of person, the person that called me, this person needs me, I collected the event. I was not trusting God, which I feel that it was wizardry or witchcraft to trust God that the other event will be delayed so I can finish. It happens sometimes that the other event will be delayed, I will finish, but at the time I said, no, I can't be doing this. If you're committed to it, as soon as money has got into your account, you're not allowed to do any other event, except it doesn't clash with your event, okay? You need to. I know what I'm saying. You almost ruined me. Thank God for the second chance. I know some people that do not want to work with me. And I say, see, this is not a period where you need to begin to lie to anybody. I don't want you to go through that route again. If you've committed and this person has agreed that he was going to pay you 100,000, stick to the agreement. It's God that blesses. It's God that blesses. If the other person really wanted you, would have contacted you early enough. Please do not do the same mistake that I did. I'm not the only one guilty. I have a lot of guys that have done that. A lot of senior colleagues have done that. I stood in for a lot of them, and I tell you the truth, I even got clients because I stood in. At first, the first said, no, it's not you we paid, and you don't want to know hundreds of thousands that they paid the senior colleague, and I wasn't paid anything, but I did the event and he opened door to other events. I've also done the same thing to my proteges. I've sent them, and today they have clients from there. So, I might have gotten away with it, but you might not get away. What if the person is an army official? What if the person decides to sue you? What will happen? And they beat you well with koboko. And God help you have koboko in your car. You put the koboko in your car. They will use your own koboko to beat you. And it can be very painful that they use your koboko to beat you and you wanted to use to beat someone. In case you don't know what koboko is, it's horse whip, that is dried. All right, so please do not do the same mistake. Once you've agreed that you've taken, and then another thing you do in invoice, when you send them an invoice, you tell them payment paid might not be refundable if a date. So that's the way we do it. It's a topic for another day, like my pastor will say. I can't give you more details about that, but always be intentional and always ask for your balance. How would your balance be paid? Is it before the event? Some people will tell you if it's not 100%. So depend. You need to know how you want to collect your event, how you want to do your event. 100% before the day of the event, 100% on the day of the event. I get my balance before I start, or I get my balance after I start. You need to know how they do it. I know some company that will tell you, we don't pay you until 2 weeks after, until 6 weeks after. That's nothing you can do. If you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, you need to walk away from it. They told you from beginning. Your prayer is now God should not allow anything to happen to them. You will not be praying to be part of a prayer point. Let them live long. They will live long. Okay, so I don't know if I've done justice. Have I? So somebody sent me, okay, so one of my guys just asked me a question. What if somebody has paid you and 3 days before they cancel? So two things. It's either something happened to the person, or the person died, or something, an emergency happened, which it has to be genuine emergency. That's different. But when somebody cancels, the client themselves cancel 3 days before, I don't think refund is important. I don't think refund. I don't see how, because I've kept the date for you. You know, it's that's why your receipt sometimes need to be. You need to say to your. I'll try and get you a sample. I'll try and get you a sample of my receipt. Maybe you send me an email or send me a DM. I could send you a sample of. Just send me a DM on SpiritofSacotv. I could send you an example of how my invoice looks like. It's usually all those things. Usually very tiny under you. You must have an invoice, because especially if you don't have an invoice, you need to learn to have an invoice. You need to begin to learn to do it easy. To do it. I say it's easy, but I have my friend that does, or one of my proteges that does my invoice for me. Especially the e-invoice that I send to my clients. You need to state it from the beginning that, please, you've kept the date and you do not want. You need to tell them and also let them, because the example my guy Omalulu gave to me is, he told me about an event that they had contracted him and they had paid, and in those 3 days the person reached out to him and said his uncle, the father said there's an uncle that does MC, and then he wants him to anchor, and he gave him and said, if I was one that cancelled 3 days before, how would you feel? So two options. He gave me two options. Said, do you want me to co-anchor with your uncle and then you give my balance, or you forego the balance? And guess what? The man Isha, if you see, I don't want to speak English, that he left the money. That's what I wanted to say before I go off in my, okay? He left the money. Sometimes, you know, people are funny. I have kept it. I remember keeping an event one time. I was supposed to go to Benin. We had agreed, and guess what? I had a couple that one of them, the bride came from America, the groom came from London, and they insisted that they wanted me to anchor the event. Because I was engaged in Benin, I said, I'm sorry, I'm engaged. Can I recommend somebody? So I recommended my protege. And guess what? The same woman that paid me $150 to pay me my balance reached out to me and said that the band was coming with an MC. And I said, there's no problem, I can anchor it. Because we're going to do the trial here, and then the white was going to be in America. And then she reached out. I knew where she was going, so I gave her options. I said, you know what? And so if the band is coming, okay, since you made a commitment, I could come to do the one in America. I have my American visa, you know, a tourist visa. I could come and anchor it. And I said, that means you have to take care of your flight. I said, yes, because the commitment had been made. And they said, you know what, let me get back to you. And then she called me back a few days after. Guess what? The reason why this event was very, very painful was she insisted, as in we negotiated till it pleased her, you know, and all these things, and we agreed at a fee. And now you make a commitment of $150, and she says, you know what? And this one, she's giving me an order. I said, you know what? I don't care. I don't want to know what happened. I need my money back. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to refund. Take it anywhere, because I kept to my own side of agreement. You know, I kept my own side of agreement. You didn't, you know. And then another thing that would have happened was signing of contract is important. You must learn how to electronically sign contract also. When you send your e-copy, tell them to sign that they've received it. That's another level we have to go. Even with that, it doesn't change anything, especially in a Nigeria setting. Say, hey, what if I say I'm not the one that signed? All these things are important. I might not be able to dwell much on it. It's a conversation that we need to sit down and talk about it. I'm sure that I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that you need to learn how to be strategic about negotiating. God bless you. I'd like to get your responses. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Please continue to subscribe. Tell your friend to tell somebody to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tell them about this YouTube channel, how he has blessed you, and God bless you. I'm sounding like a pastor. I'm not a pastor. God bless you.